So you didn't go to Madoc?
No, just Saint-Emilion, but we're going back for sure.
That sounds amazing. So glad you guys liked it.
Best. So good.
Welcome to Citation Needed Halloween Spooktacular.
What?
Oh, no. No.
Eli, just what are you doing? What? Stop.
Guys, it's the Halloween episode. Come on, get in the spirit.
Well, working with you is always a horror.
Don't do this, Cecil. Not in front of the Halloween Spooktacular.
Does he always do this?
Not today.
Always?
Yeah, he does it on our other shows too.
Why do you let
See,
him?
Noah's in the spirit. He's getting a skeleton costume. That's fun.
No, that's just my body. Look, Eli, let's not try to do a spooky Halloween episode, okay? Nobody likes it when the comedy show tries to get scary for Halloween.
Yeah, it's like doing a sad last episode. It's
like Black
been
Adam.
done.
Or Mitchell and Webb. Those guys did a sad last episode, too.
The Sherlock Holmes sketch?
Guys, it is not like doing a sad episode. It's a Halloween Spooktacular. And it's for us. Look. I did it for us. Look, Heath.
This is for me. You got me a chart.
Yeah, not just any chart. It's the marriage rates after 35. Huh? Those are pretty low, aren't they?
They aren't that low. It's a decent.
Oh, hey, don't sweat it, Heath. It's okay. I got married after 35.
Not the first time you didn't. Speaking of which, Tom, got something for you. Ta-da!
What is this? What is this?
I took a screenshot of your bank balance on your phone, and then I photoshopped out all the money. This is what it would be like if you didn't...
Okay, that shit isn't funny. That is not funny.
Noah, I put a virus on your computer that randomly moves commas and punctuation around every sentence.
Oh, God. I have to burn this now.
And Cecil, I saved the scariest for you.
Heath, did you see this? This would be me if I was poor.
Yeah, well, at least you have someone to share it with.
Share what, Heath? 'Cause not money. I don't have that to share.
How would you even say this sentence?
Jesus, Eli, I don't even really want to look at it. Wait, is that just a picture of me and Sarah on vacation?
Yeah, alone, without your best friend. It's pretty scary, right?
I mean, none.
Because if it's not scary, I could try something else. I had some...
Oh, my diatribes. All my diatribes.
Oh, I would offer to pay someone to fix it, Noah, but I can't, Noah.
Yes. Pretty scary, buddy. You really got me, Eli.
Halloween Spooktacular.
Halloween Spooktacular.
You gonna put the intro music in a minor key?
No, I am not.
Oh, okay.
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, a podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts, because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm Heath, and I'll be hosting this very special Halloween episode. Halloween episode. And unlike our typical episodes centered around beautiful, life-affirming stories of optimism about the human condition, instead, in celebration of the dark holiday, we've chosen a topic that's all about fear, death, and tragic stupidity for once. And I'm joined, as always, by our wonderful panel. First up, the guys who put the morbid and curiosity in morbid curiosity, Eli and Noah.
Heath, for your information, I asked my doctor if I'd just be obese if I stopped thinking about it.
No,
and he said that's not how it works. So
okay, you gotta. Lots of words end in S-I-T-Y. You need to just read the whole word.
What?
In the current political climate, all curiosity is morbid, Heath.
Valid.
I reject your
Valid
premise.
point. All right. Also joining us, the guys who put the M and the I in munging. Tom with an M and Cecil with an I. It works.
Yeah, okay. You know how, like, when you Google something, like, you get all the ads? than from the thing you Googled? Because now my Facebook feed is just ads for caskets and dental dams, and I don't know why they're sold by the same company. I don't feel good about this.
It's my company, and Heath, you can't kink shame me, okay?
All right, before we get started, just want to give a big thanks to our patrons who are not feeling guilty at all right now as they listen to this sentence. If you'd like to learn how to feel innocent just like them, we'll tell you where to make that happen at the end of the show. And with that out of the way, tell us, Eli, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event are we going to be talking about today?
Today, we'll be talking about the Dyatlov Pass incident.
It's not the order of those letters at all.
Russian word. I can't do English words.
I skipped saying I wrote this whole essay, by the way, only using 2 out of the 9 names because I could only hope to pronounce 2 out of the 9 names. I wrote around all the rest of them.
Dialysis pass incident.
Dyatlov City. You got it. You were pretty close.
Dianetics.
All right.
I got it.
And Tom,
I win.
you tore your way through this article, and are you ready to drag us screaming through the details?
I've removed all of my clothes for the occasion.
Oh.
Okay. Well, what was your excuse last week then?
That was hot. That was just hot.
Okay. And the week before that?
Just my penis was hot. It was just
Okay, I just got to stop asking questions.
Yeah, you
just
really only have yourself to blame
move
there. A line I've used more naked than I'm comfortable with, but okay.
Okay. Well, your penis looks pretty cold right now, so story checks out. Anyway, before we go off the rails,
Half mast.
saved us just in time, nailed it. Tell us, Tom, what was the Dyatlov Pass incident?
Nailed it.
The Dyatlov Pass incident is a still unexplained and extremely fatal incident that took place in the Ural Mountains in 1959. I looked it up, and the Ural Mountains are in Russia. And I know lots of weird shit happens in Russia, but this is weird even by Russian standards.
Yeah, well, the Ural Mountains do sound like the kind of place you'd go to have hookers pee on you, so I get it.
All right, so in January of 1959, a group of extremely experienced hikers set off on what was supposed to be a skiing expedition across a portion of the Ural Mountains. The trip was classified as a grade 3 hike, which is the hardest possible classification for this kind of thing. And this is some kind of like hellish combination of skiing and mountaineering and hiking and winter camping, although I suspect that all camping in Russia is winter camping.
Well, I feel like, for what it's worth, Napoleon found a grade 4.
And like these expedition members, they were all grade 2 certified, and had any of them actually survived this trip, they would have been grade 3 certified when they were done.
Okay, so it's kind of a weird system. If you grade up, you still die, but with a higher degree of difficulty, like more points.
Like a Russian degree of difficulty. Yeah. So like again, like tough group of guys, like, and ladies, even by Russian standards, tough folks.
Yeah, and if you don't survive the test, you get to be below grade, is what happens.
All right. Look.
You don't Lenin graduate there.
There's the shit tits. We all knew there was a shit tits on the horizon.
Belgrade, Leningrad, no. Cecil,
right.
me and you.
Now, look, I don't want to downplay the danger here, but maybe when it becomes grade anything level dangerous, we abandon the word hiking. Hiking is something old people do when they've been kicked out of literally every other hobby. Maybe call it murder marching or survival strolling. Just spitballing here. I'm just throwing it out there.
Murder Mosey. So the group originally consisted of 10 people, but one guy bowed out early because his body was just basically a piece of shit. Yuri Yudin suffered from rheumatism and a congenital heart defect.
And he was going to go on this impossible hike, so also a congenital brain defect, apparently?
Well, kind of, because after only one day, he had to quit due to severe knee and joint pain. And unquestionably, this guy with the shitty ticker and joints made of napalm and glass, he will turn out to be the luckiest motherfucker in the group.
These certifications can't be that tough. The guy with a heart monitor and a walker also was grade 2.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and our president is a stable genius who went to an Ivy League university. Guys, you can get anything you want.
All right, so the remaining 9 hikers, and we know this, by the way, from diaries and cameras that were later discovered. They cached some food and some supplies in a wooded area for use on their return trip. And on January the 31st, they headed into the nightmarish hellscape of the Ural Mountains.
Well, from the nightmarish hellscape of the rest of Russia. Yeah, it's all, all relative, ultimately.
Yeah, but we exhale a few more times or like throw a piece of coal in the air, and we're talking about the beautiful vineyards of Siberia in 2040, according to an article I just read.
I can't imagine these climbers being like, yeah, guys, I can't wait to get back to the warm glow of St. Petersburg. Wait.
All right, so a quick note on the Ural Mountains. These mountains are remote. Like, think 1,500 miles of Arctic tundra remote. Think impenetrable forest remote. Like, think this is where the Russians planned to retreat to if things went badly after World War II. Like, think elk and wolves and reindeer. Oh, and incidentally, the Ural Mountains has a 4.7 rating on Google reviews.
What?
Yeah, with such helpful comments as good service and pretty good as mountains go. And this gem, and I'm not making any of these up, this gem, quote, my son killed himself off these mountains. What? And that last comment still got 5 stars.
Well, because he's dead now. You know, he didn't.
The mountains worked.
Yeah, pretty good as mountains go. He tried a few other ones, kind of fucked it up. These were solid. What?
The mountains have such a high rating in Russia because they wouldn't bake a gay wedding cake.
I'm sorry. I just love the thought that there's somebody out there giving mountains bad reviews.
I know.
Too much uphill. No good shopping.
No almond or soy mountains whatsoever. Did not know who I was when I asked. Heath, stop stealing my phone. 5 stars. Yeah, you'll see some
I'm
fun
sorry.
ones.
It's just you're a Russian yak farmer and you don't listen to podcasts. Then what do you do all day? Pray for warmth. What is that? Is that a show? Is that YouTube?
All right, so their hiking goal on their last day alive was to hike through a pass and make camp on the opposite side. But a snowstorm blew up and the group got lost. They ended up heading westward toward the top of Kyola Tsiaki or whatever the fuck. Now, I didn't check a map, but since they're all dead now, this seems like not what they wanted. So the group, embroiled in a massive snowstorm, realized they were off track and they made their camp on the slope of the mountain in what is now known as Dyatlov Pass.
Dyatlov Pass sounds like a hellish twicket you never get to use day 2 of. You know?
Honestly, pretty much all our episodes should have been selling multi-day Groupons to their fucking thing. Like Action Park, the Challenger, Heaven's Gate. There's a bunch of them.
Oh, that's
They would have done better with that.
Oh, man. All right, well, this is now the point in the story where I can tell you that we have lost all certainty on what exactly happens from here on. And already I have questions. Like, the group made camp on the side of the mountain in a snowstorm, but less than a mile from their camp, there was also a small wooded area that would have afforded the group some shelter from the elements. Now, it may have been that the group's leader, Dyatlov, didn't want to lose the elevation they had gained, or it may have been that the group were just Russian and figured, yeah, this sucks, but we can't tell the difference between our various miseries anymore. Let's stop here.
I think I see a cabin with a fire and hot, fresh coffee.
Quiet, Yorgi. Your yammering scares the chill from my bones.
Now, at this point, no one is really sure what happens, except that the group doesn't check in like they had planned.
All right, made it from the snow to the other snow. Doing great. Texting is fun. This is awesome.
Don't listen to him. He's just jealous because these people didn't die alone.
Jesus Christ.
Nobody would go to Paris.
Holy shit, man.
So the group was supposed to have checked in no later than February the 12th. But when the 12th came and went and no one had heard from the group, nobody really snapped in action, because it turns out that if you're Russian and your friends don't come back from hiking in the mountains when they're fucking supposed to, It takes you more than a week to give a shit. Because in fact, it wasn't until the 20th that relatives of the missing expedition made enough of a fuss to muster a search party. The search party, originally consisting of volunteers, was later expanded to include the military and the police, and then they mobilized helicopters and airplanes in their attempt to find the missing hikers.
Yeah, well, because something tells me that traipsing around the Ural Mountains in February volunteer force wasn't filling in super quick.
Yeah, we called in the police, but they have pink eye. The police have pink eye.
And you know what? I don't blame him. I'm in Russia in the fucking 60s, and you go, hey, my son and his friends wandered into the tundra on purpose and didn't get back in time for Matlock. Will you send some people who aren't doing it for funsies and a knitting level 3 badge after them?
All right, so a student volunteer found the group's campsite, and the whole scene was a study in the bizarre. The tent that was found was described as, quote, badly damaged. Now, there's a picture that you can find. I have to tell you, badly damaged is something of an understatement.
It's a prolapsed tent. Yeah, I looked at that.
I mean, this tent is utterly shredded, but crazily still held the majority of the group's belongings, including most of their shoes, which you might think you would want if you were in a snowstorm. I won't even get the mail on a fall day without at least a pair of dad Crocs on. And the tent had been torn open from the inside. Oh, and all the people were gone.
Okay, so there's a tent with people-shaped cartoon holes in it, and the Jewish guy called out sick the day before. Sounds suspiciously like an inside job. But before we find out, let's take a quick break for some apropos of nothing.
Checking comms.
Comms online.
Hey, fellas.
Hello?
This is the group for the level 3 hike, right? I'm Ergy.
I don't understand. What are you wearing?
Oh, this? It's a lot warmer than it looks. You never know if it's gonna get chilly up there.
First of all, no. Second of all, I think he meant that it was...
Oh, these are my compressing knee wraps for my rheumatism. They get pretty bad in elevation, but hopefully
I'm sorry,
that will...
Yurgi, was it?
Yeah.
You're about to embark on a level 3 hike through the Ural Mountains in a light spring jacket.
That is warmer than it looks.
Do you have rheumatoid arthritis?
Yeah, but don't worry, I have my knee wraps.
Okay, well, let's get going, I guess.
Excellent. Before we go, quick thing. Did anyone bring any food?
Yeah,
Of course, I would not bring food, yes.
Oh, great. So I'll just have some of all of yours.
No. And we're back. When we left off, Tom was telling us about, I think, a Yeti who Cape feared his way into the hiker's tent and then jumped out of a giant cake like a stripper and scared everyone away. So, what's next?
What? Well, the rescuers, who are now turned investigators, they saw tracks in the snow. 8 or 9 sets of tracks, clearly leading away from the tent, and just as clearly, these were not tracks made by a party that you want to attend. The temperature on the day of the incident was between 13 and 20 below zero. And remember, it's snowing hard enough that Russians decided to stop. And the tracks? Some were barefoot, some only socks, one with only one shoe on, all leading to the edge of the nearby wood. So just like standard camping stuff so far.
Somebody's just like, Larry, you're doing this in one shoe? Fuck that. You're only getting a 2.5 certification. No way you're getting 3.
And if you make that "these mountains have steep grades" joke again, I'm knocking it down to 2.25. At most.
Searchers found the remains of a small fire less than a mile from the destroyed camp. And there they also found the first 2 bodies, those of Krivonishenko and Doroshenko.
Well done.
Well, right, I feel like I killed that.
I think you did.
Both shoeless and dressed only in their underwear.
What?
Broken branches from a nearby tree suggested that somebody had tried to climb the tree, possibly to get a better vantage point to see their way back to the original campsite.
Probably Heath.
It's just one of the searchers. Like, I just like climbing trees. 3 more bodies were found nearby, all in positions that suggested they were trying to return to camp.
Wait, like frozen in the middle of a charades game, pointing at the camp, like one word. Camp.
Now, the camp that they had very clearly vacated in such a hurry that they Kool-Aid man their way through their tent in search of the Blair Witch.
Yeah. There's just one guy on the tree, and he's like, guys, I can see my grave from up here.
It's weird. When you read this on Bear Wikipedia, this whole event is just called Dave Has the Best Day Ever. It's crazy.
A search for the remaining 4 hikers would take 2 months to complete. On May 4th, buried under meters of snow, they were finally found. And these 4 were better dressed than those of the first 4 that were found, and there's some speculation that this group had taken clothes from at least some of the dead. One of the guys was wearing the faux fur garments from one of the dead women, and one of the dead women had wrapped her foot in the pants from one of the dead men.
And this only gets us as far as some speculation. I mean, because the other option was that Ivan's pants shoe was just a bold fashion choice, right?
And honestly, it feels like Ivan's, tauntaun onesie would have been the fashion there, right?
By the way, if you've ever wondered what a chat room full of Noahs fighting over what a reasonable expectation is, read the chat page for this entry. Maybe they were just wearing dead people as a goof is the compromise this chat page reads.
The first investigation concluded the whole group had died of hypothermia, but an examination of the second set of 4 bodies changed that story, though it in no way added clarity. 3 of the hikers had major traumatic injuries, with one man having sustained a massive head injury and 2 having sustained major chest fractures. And according to the medical examiner, the injuries were so massive and the forces to inflict them so great that the injuries were actually consistent with a car crash in the amount of force that was needed, except that there was also no soft tissue damage, suggesting that they had been exposed to a massive pressure wave of some kind.
What?
Oh, and one of the ladies was missing her eyes and her lips and her tongue and part of her skull. So pretty much hypothermia, case closed. Come on.
The guys with the injuries to their chest, they're just so stoked they have clothes, they chest bump each other to death.
Bro. A lot of theories have been floated to explain what happened. For the woman missing the soft bits of her face, it was noted that she was lying face down and that a small stream ran under the snow, and her condition may have been the result of wet putrefaction rather than related to her actual death. And it could have been scavengers who just like to eat the soft stuff.
Or she could have just done a few rounds with Mike Tyson after he skipped breakfast. That's another possibility.
Or maybe Russian cows had enough and started mutilating back.
I don't know. I think this part makes sense. Like, you're eating this lady's eyes, lips, and tongue, and you need a plate because you're not a fucking savage, so you smash off some skull.
Yeah.
And they have a plate. Like, I don't think that's weird.
More than a plate.
Now, it was speculated that it was possible a local indigenous population may have murdered the group for invading their territory, and that theory makes some sense as long as the local indigenous peoples can fly, so they don't leave tracks in the snow and have some kind of highly advanced pressure gun that they only use on a few of the people they want to murder, sometimes for trespassing, and which they constructed on the off chance that someone might wander through their largely uninhabited stretch of the Ural Mountains.
I mean, that, or maybe these guys' mid-hike production of The Crucible just got way out of hand.
All right, but Tom, you say all of that in jest, but what would be more Russian than a band of mountain nomads with no belongings but a Bond villain super gun? Right?
Wait, indigenous peoples killing a bunch of people with an air gun? That sounds like the Gale of Tears.
Jesus
Gale of Tears.
Shit to the tits.
This weird group of people, they're just like, this is great. Finally using the air gun. We found some people. But we will need to throw off the investigation by fucking a corpse.
I'm sorry, what?
I'll eat that lady's face. I said eat the lady's face.
I'm
is what
okay
I
with
said.
that.
What did you say?
Yep. What did I said?
Lady's face.
The investigation indicated that the group all died because of a, quote, compelling natural force, end quote, which literally makes no sense at all. And I guess others must have agreed with me on that because in April of 2018, one of the bodies was exhumed and examined. And crazily, they found that the guy's DNA didn't match the DNA of any living relatives they could find, and the guy's name is not on the list of those buried at the cemetery that he was exhumed from. So clearly he died, but we don't know how, and now we're also maybe not sure who he was.
Or they dug up the wrong guy, right? Like I feel like that's way more consistent with the facts here.
Or the party all got simultaneously challenged to a fight to the death by Vladimir Putin, and this is the cleanup.
Or indigenous peoples with a DNA switcher gun.
Oh, shit.
That's another possibility.
Okay. I know we just landed on eating the lady's face. That's what I had said, and we landed on that. Last thing, though, I also fucked this guy right in the DNA.
Okay.
Straight off the track.
Can I give you some feedback? I need you to stop coming up with fucking related solutions to intruders, Dave. It's just
No.
okay.
So now it's time to discuss more of the wild speculation and theories as to what the fuck might have actually happened. The first of these theories is that the group were hit by an avalanche. And this might explain the traumatic injuries. And the idea here would be that the group found themselves buried under the snow, cut themselves loose in a hurry, and run out only in what they were wearing when they were struck by the avalanche. This theory has some problems, though. The primary one being that there was literally no evidence at all of an avalanche. And conditions in that area are not conducive to avalanche. And there's literally never been an avalanche there ever. But it could have been a highly localized disappearing avalanche. So not ruling that one out.
So like an avalanche cover-up is what you're saying.
A second avalanche falls on top of it.
It's a false crag operation.
Nice.
Another theory is that the wind did it. Well, specifically, like the wind created a panic-inducing infrasound when it blew over the mountains. And this theory holds that infrasound drove the hikers temporarily mad, causing them to flee their tent in a panic. And after running a distance, the wind that had cut through the mountains and created the infrasound would have lessened, or the infrasound would be less infra now. And then the hikers, and the hikers just simply died trying to make their way back. And the traumatic injuries were due to falls, which evidently caused injuries only to their bones somehow.
Yeah, right. And they fell at 65 miles per hour. Yeah. I love that both of those last two theories are predicated on them being at the beginning or end of a lackluster orgy when this all started.
One of the guys just like, Tina, can you wrap these pants over your foot again? That is super hot. Super hot.
All right, another theory is that of paradoxical undressing. And this is basically where when you like have hypothermia, your body starts to get all warm and tingly, kind of like driving quickly over a tall hill. And you remove your clothes despite the fact that you're freezing to death. Now, this theory also has a few problems in that it makes no fucking sense at all, and it doesn't really explain anything, and the guy who posited it must have been skimming the article rather haphazardly, thank you.
Again, people, do yourselves a favor. Read the talk page. Just imagine a van full of Noahs yelling at each other as they drive over a cliff.
All right, and still other stupider theories have been put forth. One suggests that, no shit, high winds blew one of the members of the party away.
Oh,
And the rest of the group perished in their attempt to locate and save Dorothy. Another suggests that the group was chased by local wildlife, such as wolves or a yeti.
What?
But the complete absence of wolf tracks or bite marks and the total non-existence of yeti makes those claims a little absurd. Another theory is that a romantic argument ensued, but of all the 99 problems noted by researchers, there was no evidence that a bitch was one.
I love that somebody took the time, though, to chisel the bitches be crazy theory into the official record.
I'm not mad. I just really want to go for a walk right now in the snow, -20. I would like to do that. Just running after Dorothy, your shoe. Your shoe.
You got no shit, by the way. There's a show on Discovery called The Russian Yeti. The Killer Lives, where I guess a hairy Russian guy went around spritzing people with polonium-210 or something. I don't know.
All right, so crazily, a very plausible theory is that of parachute mines.
What? Wow, are those words that don't seem to belong all next to each other in the same sentence?
Yeah, I know. This is the one that seems the most likely. There is evidence that the military was testing parachute mines in and around that area during the time of the incident.
The mines were hurting themselves? Or
I had to look this up. Parachute mines are basically naval sea mines repurposed with a timer and deployed by a parachute so they detonate before hitting the ground. The shockwave from this type of explosion is known for causing devastating internal injuries with relatively little external trauma. And the parachute mine hypothesis would also account for the sighting of glowing orange orbs in the sky at the time of the incident that I did not mention earlier. Okay, because it seems stupid. But just to iterate here, the most plausible explanation for the mysterious death of a group of hikers in the middle of nowhere was that the Soviet military put naval mines on parachutes and bombed the shit out of the mountains, scaring the bejesus out of these poor fuckers until they ran out of their tent in a panic, only to die either from the mine's effects or the cold.
And they were at the beginning or end of a lackluster orgy.
Exactly.
Noah, it started out lackluster, but it ended with a big bang.
and I'm assuming a very smooth transition from, you know, one of those fights about dibs on ass into a fight over a dead body sleeping bag. Yeah. But it's kind of like trying to share an umbrella, you know?
Yeah. The tall person has to hold it, Heath.
You broke your umbrella, tauntaun thing.
All right, a few other items of note. Officials that investigated the incident, who attempted to return to the past to gather additional information and further investigate, were shut down by their bosses. And also, official state prosecutors were present at the morgue during the autopsies, something which pretty much never happened. So I'm not saying for sure that it was Russians bombing the mountains, but I am saying that it sounds like these kids were killed by Russians, perhaps by bombs, and in the mountains.
I love this story because you know there was a day where someone ran into a military base and he was like, hey, Dave, you know how we were testing those parachute bombs in those abandoned mountains? This is going to sound fucking crazy.
All right, Tom, if you had to summarize what you've learned in one sentence, what would it be?
In Russia, even the parachutes are trying to kill you.
And are you ready for the quiz from the panel?
Well, as long as it's a tasteful recap of a terrible tragedy or a shameless series of puns mocking the dead, I'm good either way. Yeah.
Good. I don't have to rewrite anything.
All right. So, Tom, that poor lady that lost the soft bits of her head had a rough go of it. What was the last thing she thought? A, between this and the frostbite, I'll never get my iPhone unlocked. B, there goes that side job filling in for Bob Schaefer. C, I guess I'll throw out that coupon for eyeglasses.com. D, but I was Mason Verger for Halloween last year. or E, now no one's going to believe that Brett Kavanaugh raped me. Oh, Jesus. You know it's bad when you get a laugh out of Eli, right? Like when you can hear Eli laugh.
I laugh because I'm picturing everyone listening to that joke right now. I saw you curl up in your car on your way to work. I'm behind you. Turn around. I was just kidding. Don't turn around. You're driving. That was a bad idea. Spectacular.
All right, see, so I'm going to go with A, but only because I have a hard enough time with the soft bits. I keep pressing my penis against the phone. I think I'm doing this wrong.
I hope
so.
not.
You're not.
You are correct.
Good.
All right. Tom, I feel like we're really underselling the talk page of this article. So which of the following is a real quote from the talk page for this article? A, I've been instructed by mods not to be insulting, but at this point, that would be impossible. B, I don't think we need to spend any more time on such an insipid theory. C, and my favorite, Could someone lend me a copy of that book for citation? Go fuck yourself. Or is it D? All of the above. The scariest thing about this story is the people who told it to us.
All right, well, clearly the answer you're fishing for is D. And a side note, I've never read the talk page for a wiki article. I didn't know they had one, and I can't imagine why anybody would read it.
The talk page is all I read. It's the best part of any Wikipedia article.
It usually is, yeah. All right, I have one last question for you. What is the most popular snack when hiking through the Ural Mountains? Is it A, borscht I couldn't come up with a fourth one. Okay. B, avalanchables.
Avalanchables is amazing.
Avalanchables
is amazing.
Is it C, anything by Yeti Crocker?
Yeti Crocker's good too.
Yeah.
Or D, the buttocks of your compatriots who didn't make it?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go with D. It's eating ass. Always appreciated. And now you avoid that awkward after kiss.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, see, your Americacentrism is getting you there. They love the awkward after kiss in Russia. It's actually it's B. It's the avalanche.
All right, Noah, good work. You stumped him. You are the winner.
All right, awesome. Then I will pick Cecil to do next week's essay because he made fun of my Luddites one last week.
All right. I'm going to toss it over to Sarah for last week's Twitter answer and this week's Twitter question.
Thanks, Heath. Last week's question was, what is a better name for the ship that Robert Smalls commandeered? Our answer comes from Tressa on Facebook with this: USS Bodie McBlackface. This week's question is, what obvious joke did we miss this week? Remember to retweet or Facebook share this episode with your answer for a chance to be next week's winner. Back to you, Heath.
Okay, well, for Tom, Noah, Cecil, and Eli, I'm Heath. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week, and by then, Cecil will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can hear from Tom and Cecil on cognitive dissonance, and you can hear Eli, Noah, and myself on God-awful movies, The Scathing Atheist, and The Skeptocrat. And if you'd like to be a net positive instead of a net negative in the world of art, you can make a per-episode donation on patreon.com/citationpod. Or you could just keep smoking everyone else's pot and listening for free. Either way, that's fine. Nobody's judging you. You're not the absolute worst. Everybody doesn't hate you. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, listen to past episodes, connect with us on social media, or take a look at the show notes, be sure to check out citationpod.com.
My God, we've been walking forever. I'm not gonna make it. I need to drop out of the project, fellas.
We haven't even started yet.
Yeah, but I parked really far. See, it's all the way over there.